Welcome to the Core of Life. On LinkedIn, there was a post that went out that really resonated with me. One of the guys shared on his friend that was the life of the party, the encourager, the motivator. And a day later, he had committed suicide. And he wondered what had gone wrong there. So many people jumped onto that post, and so many people shared their thoughts and ideas of what could have happened. Today, I would like to leave with you is that you need to check up on those people that are your encourager, that are your motivators, because sometimes they may not have that encouragement or motivation in their lives. Sometimes the only motivation they may have is just themselves and God. So, what kind of skills can I teach you today? Well, in one of the posts, this is what came up in one of the posts, and I'd like to share that with you. Sadly, one of the reasons we don't ask, unfortunately, is because we don't know how to, or if we would manage to handle the answer if it was a no. We should talk more about how to support each other when we're not okay. A lot of us just don't know. Okay. So, in this response, we can see the person that commented is saying that they actually don't ask because what if you ask somebody for that help and they say you know? Things I've learned from this podcast that I listened to, Entree Leadership, is when you meet somebody and they've had a really vulnerable conversation with you, like they are crying and bawling their eyes out, and it may not be your area of expertise, you can genuinely let them know that you do care for them and then try to find them the help that they need. Sometimes we are not equipped with that idea that we can go out and get them that help that they need or refer them to a person that can really help them in that area. So we tend to take on that burden, not knowing or feeling that we are not empowered enough to help that person. Knowing who to ask and finding that safe place or that safe person is so important. In my personal journey, I remember having two very real experiences around two people. So I am somebody that's very strong. And if I'm going through something, I tend to handle it myself. I tend to process it myself and try to make sense of it myself. But I remember walking up to this lady and I remember just talking to her and then I remember just crying and I didn't understand why I was crying. And I remember the saying that I read the other day that says, um, your body kind of like gives you clues. It lets you know uh, the person that you can trust with that story. Like sometimes you carry so much and you really don't know who you can speak to about it. And then sometimes you meet a random stranger and you find yourself crying and you're so strong being strong sometimes. It's not easy sometimes being vulnerable or finding that safe place where you can be vulnerable around somebody. So sometimes just trust your gut instinct. If you are finding yourself in an emotional or in a very vulnerable place where you're generally very strong and then you find yourself almost in tears in front of somebody, I found that those are the greatest souls that you can ever meet. They tend to be somebody that's so caring, and they often have some good advice. And sometimes it just means you just finding somebody to hear you out. Another response on the post was sometimes people are asking that question, are you okay? Just for the formality's sake. Your answer doesn't matter. And isn't that so true? Sometimes we go through life and we meet people and they ask you, hey, are you okay? But they don't really make that connection with you. Like, hey, I care. I'm here. I'm open to listening to you. Are you okay? Right? So on this post, that really resonated with me because I tend not to ask people this question, are you okay? If I don't have the time to gauge them, Or if I find that I'm really rushed, I will tell them, can we set up an appointment or can we speak later in the week about it? If I see that they're in a really emotional place or they just need somebody to listen to them. When I had started my career, I remember doing stock take with an elderly gentleman in the warehouse. And that day he was really joyful and he was over the moon and he was joking and um, nobody really knew that the next day that we would get the message that he had committed suicide. And I think the greatest thing for anybody that has lost somebody to suicide is I wonder what I could have done differently to help this person. And over the years, I've often asked myself the question. And over the years, I've lost more friends and family to suicide. And it begged me to ask the question even more. I wonder what I could have done or what I could have said that would have helped this person. And I've come to realize that in life, sometimes you just have to be a really present person with every person that you meet. Just be genuine and present. And you never know that one word of encouragement, what it'll mean to somebody and what a difference it'll make to them. We're so busy putting up this facade and this mask that we are fine, that it really prevents us from connecting to people in a very real and genuine way. Sometimes when you're going through stuff and you need to speak to somebody and they've got this facade that everything is okay in the world, they are in a great place, it really doesn't leave you in a very good place to be vulnerable. And I wanted to encourage you today. I watched this documentary on centurions and how to reach 100 years and above. And they said the key number to reaching 100 years and above is to having three genuine friends around you. The magic number was three. And for those of us that are really strong and we have our own support system and it's just between us and God, I would encourage you today to live your life intentionally and to have really genuine people around you, like three genuine souls that you can call when you are sick, that you can rely on to bring a meal through to you, and you be that person for them as well. So I just wanted to leave you with these two thoughts. The one is be a genuine person and listen to people and make time. The second one is make time for you to build good relationships and have three good friends around you that's going to listen to you, that's going to hear you out. You know, us as women, we tend to be very emotional beings. What will take a man one word to sort out tends to take us like 2 hours to go through because we like to process our emotions and put them in neat compartments and try to link it, mind map it, and try to find a solution through it all. So sometimes, ladies, if you are going through something, talking to your husband might not be the best solution, especially with the one word answers. It can be quite frustrating. If you agree with me, you can let me know in the comments. But finding a safe place, finding somebody that you can have those safe conversations with um, is very, very important. Working on those relationships, building in those relationships, investing in those relationships is very, very important. I trust this content has helped you. If you are finding this content that I'm creating of great value towards you, let me know by liking the channel, by liking the video, and commenting in the video below. Thank you. Getting the most out of life's lessons.